Hi, welcome to this fortnight's video blog. Thanks for linking in, and wherever you are, I trust you're doing well. This is the second in a series of hopefully 3 or 4 in the whole area of decision making. And last time we looked at an overall view of decision making, some of the things to take into account. This time I want to narrow it down a little bit and say leaders shoot for ownership, not compliance. The thought this time is leaders shoot for ownership, not compliance. Now I'm well aware that in any organisation, there is a certain amount of compliance you have to comply with. It could be workplace health and safety. It could be government regulations. It could be industry standards that you have to comply with. I get that, but I'm not so much talking about those. I'm talking about in the decision-making process, shoot for collaboration, shoot for ownership, shoot for buy-in, not just compliance, not just if you get to the stage where it's always one person making the decisions and expecting everyone else to fall in line, that will have a limited life, in my opinion. And that's the thought for this time, and I want to just share a few thoughts around that. The first one is this. In my opinion, I think if it ever was in existence, then the season of dictatorial, authoritarian leadership is, if not dead and buried, pretty close to it. I think that's past. I think what people are looking for now is collaboration. I think that's the era we're in at the moment. And any decision, I think what's important is to have the right people around the table. Really important to have those people, whoever they might be the right people for that decision, to formulate that decision, the right people around the table will be really important. And it's choosing those people well. So it's not just one level of the organisation, it's the people that matter. So it could be for a particular decision, you might need an executive person. You might need somebody from the factory floor, as it were. You might need a volunteer. You might need somebody from the marketing area of the organisation. Whoever are the right people, get them together, because that'll be gold. And what that does, it brings the right energy into the room to make the decision. And it also shows the organisation that you're making decisions with the whole organisation in mind. And those people who are around that table have their own level of influence in different areas in the organisation. So that's important. Second thought's this. I'd just say try and limit the number of captain's calls you make. Any key leader will have to make captain's calls. In other words, they have to make calls quickly and on their own. And it could be because the urgency of a moment or the urgency of a decision, you just have to make it. Or it could be you've had some collaboration, but we're still going around in circles and the time has crept up and you have to make that call. You need to make that captain's call. But please, I'd say, make them as few as possible, because if you make too many captain's calls, you actually undermine the currency of your leadership. And if you make too many, over time, you lose the voices that you need to have in the organisation. You need to hear those voices. And you even need 1 or 2 dissenting voices in decision making. And by dissenting, I don't mean hypercritical, I don't mean cynical. I'm talking about the voices that will challenge, that will provoke and cause you to look in other directions and take into account things you would never have thought of. So limit the captain's calls would be great for this whole area of building ownership and buy-in in an organisation. Third thought I'd say is this, that when you shoot for ownership and buy-in, it actually builds sustainability in an organisation, whether it's a not-for-profit or a church or a business. You will actually, by involving others, you will build sustainability and the thriving culture. You've probably heard the phrase, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that's true. If you want to build into an organisation that has sustainability and is in there for the long haul, and staff that you want to stick with you in that whole process, then if you shoot for ownership, it'll give you much greater opportunity to do that. When people think they are simply fodder or fuel for somebody else's vision, you're just the do-it people for somebody else who makes all the decisions, that grinds over time and people lose confidence, and eventually you lose the people. So I'd say it's important in building sustainability. So that's the thought for this time. I'm sure there's many thoughts around that one thought again, but leaders, shoot for ownership, not compliance. That'll make a difference. Hey, I love your feedback. I hope that helps. Please feel free to feedback on LinkedIn and Facebook, on the website timhanna.com.au, on YouTube now. If you go to Tim Hanna and just scroll down and you see my wonderful face there, and it says subscribe next to it. You can get all the video blogs are there as well. So you can feel free to feedback on a number of areas. But until next time, take care, stay well, and look forward to seeing you then.